Welcome to The Author's Journey with #1 international best-selling author and in-demand publisher, Rebecca Hall Greider. Today, we'll showcase the works of an amazing best-selling author, find out the story behind their book, and explore ways to bring your message powerfully forward. Now, here's your host, Rebecca Hall Greider.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. Excited to be connecting in on the author's journey, where we talk to amazing experts and best-selling authors, and we really look to understand how can we bring our books forward? How can we bring our messages forward? What are some of the steps to go from idea, concept, this calling to bring a book forward to actually bringing it forward, launching it as a bestseller, having it reach more people, make the impact it's called to have? So today we're going to be pulling back the curtain and learning from an expert. She is an expert around how do we bring that content forward. So we spend all this time creating this amazing, powerful book. And then how do we continue to have it be seen and heard and the information continue to impact people's lives? How do we do that? How do we have it not only available for people to purchase, but really available where people can see it. It can touch their lives. It can impact them. So I'm really excited to talk with our amazing guest and learn from one of the top in this space of how do we keep that information going? How do we continue to touch people's lives? Because it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of energy and time, blood, sweat, and tears to bring a book forward. And we want to make sure that it's having the impact, it's touching people's lives the way it's called to touch. So I know we're in for a great show. Thrilled to have all of you joining us. And I want you to get the most out of our time together today. So I'm going to run through a couple of quick tips. 1, choose to be fully present. Take a breath. Slow down. Realize this time is for you. It's an opportunity for you to be poured into, to be supported. Have a paper and pen ready so that you can write down that insight, that aha moment, that tip that's going to be really supportive of you, perhaps a new way of looking at things or a question to explore or something to add into how you're bringing your book forward or looking at bringing it forward, or you've brought it forward, and ideas to help you continue to impact people with it. So be ready to receive. As you're taking those deep breaths in, feel them supporting you, filling you full. As you breathe out, releasing what no longer serves and creates beautiful space for more. And I encourage you to stay fully present. You'll have breaks throughout the show that are designed for you to be able to be still, to receive, to process information so that it actually is integrated. It becomes part of you instead of getting added to the to-do list. So those are my tips to help you get the most out of our time together today. Be present, breathe deeply, realize this is a time you get to receive, you get to be poured into, and to really be open to receiving all that will serve you today. Because we want you to bring your message forward. No one else has a message just like yours. So we want to support you in bringing it forward. Let me introduce our amazing guest. Melanie Hirschhorn is a content marketing strategist for coaches, speakers, and authors worldwide. She brings a unique combination of entrepreneurship and award-winning journalism combined with PR experience to help you nurture leads and position yourself as an industry expert. She is passionate about you and creating a clear and consistent message to continue to bring your content, your brand, your message forward. Wants to continue that momentum around you and your book. She wants your brand and your book brand to sparkle online. Please lean in and warmly welcome the wonderful, dynamic, and warm Melanie Hirschhorn to the show. Welcome.
Yay. Thank you, Rebecca.
You're
I'm
welcome.
so happy to be here.
Thrilled to have you joining us. I love that. Yay. So cheering you on, joining us. It's great. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about why. Why is this work of helping experts and authors in this way personally so important to you?
Oh, what a great way to start. Thank you. Mm-hmm. It is so personally important to me because it allows me to fulfill my mission, which is to amplify women especially, but men too, to amplify voices in a way that people wouldn't normally be able to do. It helps me take a small step to make this world a better place.
I believe that, and I love that. I just celebrate the work that you're doing to lean in, lift others up, to amplify them. And every person you amplify is absolutely making the world a better place. So thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we get too deep into the conversation, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. What does book brand mean? So I get kind of our brand, but when we're talking about a book brand, how is that the same or different as we're looking at bringing that forward and amplifying it?
Okay, so a book brand would basically be, how does that book fit into your overall strategy as a brand? Because as an author, you may write a book to help grow your business. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you want to create a brand around your book and you want to be known for doing something specific. Maybe it's to eradicate something horrible going on in the world, like human trafficking. So that's going to be your platform. You're going to write books about why we need to end and how we need to end human trafficking. And so then you become known as the go-to expert on that topic. And so the brand as a whole, you might not be selling a widget, but it's how people recognize you.
Okay, beautiful. And your book and your expertise. So it all starts to weave together strategically, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh, powerful. So if this may be a new concept for us, we're getting ready to go to our first commercial break, and I thought it would be great to have them take the next moment or so to feel in. So do you have a question or something they could quickly explore looking at their brand or book brand or strategy around this that they can explore during their break?
Yes. Think about why you've written your book. Mm-hmm. What is your mission? What is your vision? And what do you hope to accomplish with that?
And repeat that one more time for everyone.
What is your mission with your book? Why did you write it? What vision do you have for it? And what do you hope to accomplish by having it out in the world and getting it into the hands of your ideal readers?
Beautiful. Thank you. We are getting ready to go to our first commercial break, and as we do that, I want to explore these questions that Melanie's already given us, some great things to look at and explore, and we'll look forward to continuing our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those questions, those important things that Melanie had us reflect on. Our vision for the book, our mission, what were we hoping to accomplish? What were we hoping it would do or the impact it would have on our ideal clients? And I'm curious, as you took a couple moments to feel in, if you had some additional insights or ahas or just another layer to consider in bringing your message forward and sharing it. Perhaps sometimes I'll find as I sink into these questions, like, oh, I hadn't shared that was part of why I brought it forward. That's something I could start to share with the world. Or I hadn't thought about that. Let me now sit with that and see how that impacts how I'm bringing it forward. So I would love to get your perspective, Melanie, on these beautiful questions that you gave us to reflect on. Why are these important? And why is this where you encourage people to start? I'd love your thoughts on that.
The reason to start with these questions is that these are what is going to get you out of bed every single day. This is how you are going to feel the motivation to do your marketing, because most of us are not born knowing how to market. And if you've, just like you said earlier, you've put your blood, sweat, and tears into creating a beautiful book, and now you get to the end and it's in your hand, and then you say, wait, what? Now I have to market my book too? I thought the hard part was finished. So starting with your mission and remembering what it is every single day when you sit down to create content, when you sit down to write an email or post something or speak on someone's podcast, that's what is going to remind you of why you do what you do. And that's going to keep propelling you forward.
I love that. What an important tip and perspective that this is our marketing motivation. Everyone, you heard it here. That knowing the answer. I love that, because sometimes we can get shy about it, or it's like one more thing to do, but really remembering this is the purpose. This is why it was created, and being willing to take those steps, bring it forward, and share it out in the world. I love that. And I'm curious, so as people start to step into that and they start to get that motivation and to share out, do you see, is there a myth, a place where people stumble, or a big mistake that you see happens out there? And what is the truth or the way around that?
I see a number of mistakes repeated. And I think the biggest one is thinking that you can copy what someone else has done and make it your own. And just do exactly the same kind of marketing for your book as they did for their book and expect to have the same result. It just can't happen, because you're a unique individual who's got a unique background and skill set and a book that hasn't been written by anyone else but you. So to think that you can then, have this cookie cutter approach, it's unfortunately not going to get you the results that you want.
That is really powerful, and I love that you're sharing that. And listeners, I just want you to take that in for a moment, that you're the messenger of what you are called to bring forward. It's your voice, it's your message, it's your book, and it needs its own unique way of being brought forward that matches you and matches what you're called to bring forward. Do you have some tips? Because I think a lot of people do. They want to copy what they perceive, because they don't always know the inside part, but what they perceive people have done to bring books forward. How can they start to have their own way of discovering their plan, their path to bring their book forward and to share it?
Oh, I love that question. Okay, so the first one is, we've already covered that in the break, which was remembering your mission. The second one is staying true to your voice and being authentically you, and not being afraid to be a little bit vulnerable online, and not being afraid to say, you put your stake in the ground and this is what I stand for. Because so often we're afraid to ruffle feathers, or, maybe we said something and then we walk it back. But you want to attract people who are going to read your book, and perhaps not only read your book, but these are the people that are going to fill your programs, and these are the people who are going to become your one-on-one clients. So you want to make sure that they know who you are so that they can say, yes, I want to work with Rebecca. That's who I want to be associated with. I love what she stands for. So standing in your truth, and I don't love using cliches like this, but it's true. Being authentically yourself, and authentic is a word that gets thrown around too much too, but being authentically yourself online is going to do wonders for you, your book, and your brand.
I love this. So if anyone was waiting for permission, guess what? It's here. It's been granted. Take your stand and stand in it authentically, powerfully, and truly, that this is your authentic truth and how you can reach people. And you've heard it from a top expert in this space. So I want to encourage anyone who's been a little bit timid, a little bit shy, maybe hesitant, that I hope you feel that pull and that quickening of your heart and your spirit, that this is your time. And I'm just going to, here's something that for me, God encourages me and gives me messages. And so here's one of the messages I got recently, Melanie. It's from God, and it's like he's sending me a little text message. And it says, it says, stop waiting on other people to give you permission to do what I have already appointed you to do.
Wow.
And that really touched my heart, and it encouraged me and also gave me this really stepping forward. And if you have written a book, you have brought your content forward. You've been called. You've said yes. You've brought it forward. Don't drop it halfway. Bring it all the way forward and continue to. It's a calling. Anything you'd like to add to that, Melanie?
Well, those words are very powerful, and I absolutely agree. Remember that you have a tangible, physical example of your amazingness now as you hold this book in your hand. And don't shy away from telling people how it's going to improve their lives in some way or impact them in some way. So remember that you did this for a reason, and keep going.
Beautiful. So any tip that you would give to encourage people to keep going? I know I've mentioned lightly a plan, that sometimes it's great to have a plan, but that might feel a little vague to people. What would you suggest if someone's like, okay, I'm in, I want to take steps? What are some steps they can take to bring their content forward, to start building a plan? What does that mean? Where can they start?
Okay, so this is exactly the kind of work that I do with my clients. We sit down and we start from scratch, and we go through all the content topics that they could ever speak about online. And there is an infinite number, but you're really going to have four major content pillars. Like, think of the legs of a table. You're going to find four things that everything else falls under. So if you can look through your book and say, okay, well, I wrote a book about, let's say you're a life coach, for example, and you wrote a book about how to have a better life. We'll be super general here. And you are talking about, how to have a better life with your family, with your business, with yourself, and with your partner. So those would be four legs of the table. And then everything that you ever write about or talk about would fall under one of those four pillars. So if you can go through your book and figure out what your pillars are, then you can start organizing your content in that way. And that kind of helps keep you on track. So you're not just, one day talking about horses and then the next day talking about being a life coach and then the next day talking about the weather.
Beautiful. Because that would get confusing, even though they all may be aspects of you and important to you. It could be a little bit confusing for the brand and the message you're wanting to bring out. So I love this, really looking at those 4 major pillars that our content can fall under, and that helps us start to organize the information and bring it forward. That's great. And as you're doing this, I'm curious, do you recommend getting support? When do you need support? And bringing an expert in like you? What is more do-it-yourself kind of level? I'm curious, as we're navigating that, how do we know when to ask for help?
When you want to ask for help is when you sit down and you go, okay, I realize I need to have content marketing, but I just don't know where to start, and I need accountability. Because it's really a 2-pronged approach. Mm-hmm. You can know what you're doing, but if there's nobody to hold you accountable, you're going to find an excuse not to do it. Mm-hmm. It's just it's humanity. Mm-hmm. Do I really have to post on LinkedIn today? Oh, well, I could do it later, or it's 10 o'clock at night. I forgot to post on LinkedIn today, so I'll just do it tomorrow. And then time goes by. So when I start working with clients is often before they've even published. They have the book written. Mm-hmm. It may be in hand. It may not be in hand. But we create that VIP platform, that author platform. So let's say Hoda Kotb calls you and says, hey, I'll bring you on my morning show. Then when you're having millions of viewers watching you on TV, you can say, oh, well, you can follow me on Instagram because you already have that online platform built.
Beautiful. I love that. So that accountability is a big part of it too. And then helping people know this sounds like from a strategy place too, even what to choose. Because I think sometimes we're too close to our content. And we think the horses are tying in just as closely as the family picture as this, because we're not looking at it from the outside, and it may not tie in as closely from the outside as it does inside us. So do you see that ever?
Absolutely. I mean, I have a marketing coach, and I do marketing because it's so hard to do it for yourself. It's so hard to be objective. And being able to really take that step back. If I can give you an example.
Sure.
When I work with authors, one of my first questions in our onboarding session is, do you have a lead magnet? Mm-hmm. And by that I mean, do you have a free thing that people can download in exchange for them giving you their email address so that you can grow your email list? And 9 times out of 10, they say either no, what is that? Or the other option is yes. And I say, what do you give? And they say, the first chapter of my book. Mm-hmm. And then I say, no, stop doing that right now. Stop. Because people don't necessarily want to get the first chapter of a book from an author they don't know anything about. Mm. So it's having that perspective to be able to take a step back and go, okay, well, what would be a better thing to offer that brings people to the beginning of your customer journey? So even though you may be an author, you are still a business. You are still a brand. And you have to see it as a customer journey. And so that's one of the reasons it's good to work with somebody who can do the strategy with you, because then you can kind of see the evolution that your brand will take from I wrote a book to now I'm speaking on stages. There's definitely steps that you can take to grow your influence online.
Beautiful. Thank you. I love this. And I also feel like it even gives even more value to the book because you're not giving away parts of it. It's like a separate special thing that people can lean into and add to their libraries. I love that. So it can be used to build prestige and build value for your book as well as grow your list and bring people in that are generally interested in engaging with you at a higher level. So that's wonderful. I love that. We are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do that, listeners, I want you to think about all of this powerful information that Melanie's been sharing with us and take a couple moments to integrate, kind of digest, write some notes down. And when we come back, we're going to share a couple of important tips. Melanie has an amazing gift she's going to be sharing with us and her contact information. So stay tuned, and we'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed that time to process all of that wonderful information. I know I took a lot of great notes. I hope that you did as well. And when to start asking for help, I think that's important to know. I think sometimes we try to go too far doing things on our own versus maybe going faster by getting support or another perspective we never would have saw because we are in the frame. We're not outside the frame. And yet so many of the people we're trying to reach are on the outside. They aren't connected with us yet. So I think that's so important to get that outside perspective. And when you can tap into the expertise of somebody who this is what they do and bring in that accountability and strategy, I feel like it helps us just take things to another level. And so I'm really excited about that. I hope that you've given, as you've taken these breaks and these times, that you've given yourself an opportunity to really explore these areas that Melanie has been sharing about. And in fact, I encourage you at the end of today's show, take a couple more moments, even 5-10 minutes, to really go a little deeper and explore some of what she shared, really carve that time out. In fact, here's an extra credit bonus tip. Even though the show is typically 35 minutes, you could carve out an hour and then use that time at the end of the show for you to process information being shared, to use it as a time to write downloads. You could build that into part of your experience with the show, because I really want to support you in bringing your messages forward. So Melanie and I were talking a little bit behind the scenes, and she has some great resources that we wanted to let you know about, make available to you, a gift, and I wanted to get a final tip from her as well. So have your paper and pen ready. And Melanie, what are some of the amazing resources you have that can support us on our journey?
Okay, thank you for asking. So I have a content calendar that is available for you to download, and this will allow you to organize your thoughts, organize your content, and it also includes the national days and the holidays. So when it's National Selfie Day on June 21st, you'll know because it'll be in that calendar. And so you can grab yours at vipdigital.live/Author's Journey Podcast. So that will be there for you. It will be updated every year for eternity so that you can always be up to the minute on what you need to plan for your content.
Oh, I love that. That's exciting.
Thank you. And I also periodically offer workshops all about book marketing training. So if you want to get information about that, grab your content calendar and you will be on my list and you will find out about the latest workshop.
Oh, I love it. So can you give us the link one more time, just in case someone missed it? I want to make sure they have it.
Sure. It's vipdigital.live/Author's Journey Podcast.
Perfect. And then we'll make sure to include that in the description for anyone who's looking at the show description as well. So you can lean in and take advantage of that. And also get on Melanie's list so you're up to date on everything that is going on. And for someone who's listening to the show today and they're just like, this is great, I'm going to do that, but I really want to talk to Melanie and I know I want her help or her team's help. I need help. What's the best way for them to do that?
Well, I'm on all the socials, but you can also grab a content strategy call with me, and we can take 45 minutes and really get clear on your book and what strategy you need for your marketing. And that's just at contentstrategycall.com.
Beautiful. And can they find all of this information in one location on your website, or is there a media that's better for them to follow you in?
Oh, my website's great. It's VIPdigitalcontent.com.
Okay, beautiful. Just thinking then there's the world of Melanie and content marketing
there it is.
that they can go to and explore and tap into some of these amazing resources and stay in touch. And as you're reflecting on our journey today and our conversation today, is there anything you would like to add as a reminder or a final tip for our listeners today?
Absolutely. I think that it's so easy to get overwhelmed. And I want you to know that just like you had taken a deep breath at the beginning when you were listening to this beautiful podcast, you take a deep breath and you say, okay, I have that innate drive. I have that mission and I have that message, and I'm ready to get that out into the world and to step into my power as an online influencer. So you just have to start small, one day at a time. But if you can continue to be consistent with your content marketing, you will see a difference.
Thank you for sharing that. And I could just feel the truth in what you're sharing and this taking on that energy, that commitment, that truth of being an online influencer with what we're each called to bring forward. And it takes that one day at a time commitment and being consistent, step by step by step. Beautiful. And listeners, I hope that you feel that you're leaning in, that you're looking for a step that you can take each day to bring your content, your message forward. Remember, it's not a solo journey. We are here supporting you, cheering you on. Experts like Melanie can come alongside you and support you in helping you continue to bring your content forward in powerful ways, because the world needs you. They need your message, your way, what you've been called to bring forward. Continue to be bringing it forward. Continue to build a plan and take steps on it. Not just the plan, but take the steps too to bring forward your message, because no one else can do it exactly the way you are called to do it. You were equipped to do it. So I want to encourage you to take those steps. Melanie, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to join us and to support us and share such great insight, tips, and wisdom and beautiful gifts. We love that. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's been such an honor to be here.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thrilled to have you with us. And listeners, as you get ready to step back out to the day, I encourage you to take a couple moments for you to really process what's speaking to your heart and your spirit, to honor that. Take some notes, receive that information, downloads, and then choose a couple of steps you can take today to start moving forward in this area, to bring your message forward. Whether your book is printed and ready and out in the world yet, or it's getting ready, start to look at how you can share this out in a way that can reach your people, because they need what you are called to bring forward, and you're the chosen messenger. So say yes, lean in, and be willing to touch the hearts and lives that you are called to touch. Have an amazing week, everyone, and I'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to The Author's Journey. Please join Rebecca Hall-Greider for another edition of the Author's Journey podcast every Monday on the Voice America Variety Channel. And until we talk again, use some of the tips and inspiration from today's show to guide you as you lean in to bringing your message forward.